Without question, the U.S. Open is bowling's most grueling test.
There it is. Walter Williams is the men's U.S. Open champion.
With a huge strike in the 10th frame, and Bob Learn is your champion.
Robert Smith's the winner. United States Open champion.
Unbelievable.
Last year, Finland's Mika Koivuniemi took home the title.
There is our champion.
We are coming to you from Fountain Bowl, Orange County, California, not far from downtown Los Angeles. It's the 60th U.S. Open presented by Jackson Hewitt, our third major of the PBA season. Today's winner earns $100,000. Now let's meet our four finalists in the step ladder format. From St. Anne, Missouri, a two-time U.S. Open champion, one of just four players to win bowling's Triple Crown, PBW Pete Weber. The U.S. Open defending champion with two major championships to his credit. From Finland, but now living in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Mika Koivuniemi. From Victorville, California, making his 5th career TV appearance, looking for his first ever PBA title, Michael Haugen Jr. This Hall of Famer's resume includes 35 wins, 3 majors, nearly $3 million in earnings. From Ocala, Florida, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Those are the four finalists in our step ladder format. Pete Weber makes his first U.S. TV appearance of the season, taking on Mika Koivuniemi, last year's U.S. Open champ, the only foreign-born champion in this event. Michael Haugen Jr. awaits the winner of that match. The survivor takes on the top seed, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Brilliant again this week through qualifying and match play. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Southern California. So glad you could join us today. Dave Ryan alongside Randy Peterson, thoughts from Leslie Goodell. In a moment, the house is going nuts. A lot of enthusiasm today. This is our third major of the season, Randy. We'll have our third different major champion, but you think for the players, this is the most significant.
Yeah, I really do. You know, once you win a major championship, you're in the record books forever. But in my opinion, this is the toughest one to win for 2 reasons. Number one, the format. 347 players started the event, 51 games to get to this point, but the players bowled 33 games the last 2 days. And the second factor has to be the lane conditions. The oil pattern was brutal. 40 feet, gutter to gutter, very flat. Very dry in the middle part of the lane and very slick outside. The players attacked this oil pattern 2 ways, from the deep inside line, following it back, or they played the Walter Ray style, piping it straight up second arrow. In any event, no matter what angle you played, you had to thread the needle or you paid a severe penalty.
Randy, bowling fans across the country have waited for PDW, the sport's most dynamic player, Pete Weber, to return to the U.S. TV tour. He's back now, but that's not the only storyline we're following today.
Well, Mika Koivuniemi is our defending champion with his unique loft, which fits a very tough condition perfectly. And then there's Walter Ray Williams Jr., the leader. Say what you want about Walter Ray, no matter what the format is, no matter what the lane condition, he's there. And in my opinion, the greatest bowler ever.
Randy, the history of the PBA Tour, only 4 players have repeated as U.S. Open champions. Mika Koivuniemi tries to become the 5th today. He has got to take on the dynamic Pete Weber, looking for his first tour title of the season. They go head-to-head when we return to Southern California. Combined in our final 4 players, we've got 65 titles, 11 majors, several with our first 2 bowlers, and Pete Weber and Mika. Let's find out how they got here. Defending U.S. Open champion Mika Koivuniemi won 7 of his 8 matches yesterday to qualify 3rd for today's show. With a good pinfall and match play record, Mika now needs 3 more wins to defend his U.S. Open championship. Pete Weber had a very exciting Saturday. He beat out Ryan Schaefer in the positioning round to go from 5th to 4th. It went down to the final few shots, overtaking Norm Duke's position. So Pete is in, Duke is out today.
Mika said yesterday that his greatest memory from last year's title was when he knew that he had won that tournament. A chance to repeat, but Mika, you said being the defending champ isn't necessarily an edge, but what is it about the difficult lane conditions that best suits your game?
I think because I learned the ball tough lane conditions, so I learned the grind when I was really young, and that helps. And shot is that tough it was this week.
Now, your last show was in February. Pete Weber, your last show was in September. Getting here is half the battle. What's it going to take to win today?
I just got to stay patient like I've been all week and just try and make good shots, let the ball off my hand.
Dave, when I asked him about what it's like to be on TV and if he rises to the occasion, he said, it's showtime. You're not here to lose. You're here to win.
Leslie with the sunglasses. Pete Weber Jr. is ready. And on the line today, one bowler takes home $100,000 in the third of our 4 majors. Walter Ray Williams Jr., by getting to the finals already, has clinched the runners-up $50,000. And the U.S. Open, presented by Jackson Hewitt from Fountain Valley, Southern California, is underway with Pete Weber. Almost a Brooklyn cross it over. He'll take it.
Well, that did go Brooklyn, and we saw a lot of that this week. We talked about the tough lane conditions at the Open. This is around the 5th arrow. I told you, Pete, some guys are going to be playing that deep inside line. Walter Ray is going to be going straight. You're going to see some loft right here with Mika Koivuniemi.
Hurrying into the pocket. And all 10 down to the pit for Mika Koivuniemi, born in Tampere, Finland, now living in Ann Arbor, Michigan. By the numbers this week, head-to-head, the average score very close. The strike percentage not far off. In fact, all the numbers similar.
Yeah, and the one thing that really stands out to me is the spare conversion rate, a lot lower than we're used to seeing. And the reason why is because the players shot at a lot more spares this week. And because of the tough lane conditions, they were a lot harder to make.
Back to the big fin. Mika Koivuniemi, that is flush in the pocket. Just 2 titles. The first ever foreign-born player to win the ABC Masters and the U.S. Open.
See, what loft does on a tough lane condition is it delays hook. And when lanes are tough, you want to try to keep the ball as straight as you possibly can. Even if you're going a little right with it, you still want it straight through the front part of the lane.
Back to PDW. That hurries nicely into the pocket. On TV, head-to-head with Mika, he's 0-1, a .235 average. And lost the 2000 Masters in Albuquerque to Mika Koivuniemi. As Leslie mentioned, since September, and that was in Japan, since we've seen Pete on TV. That's flush in the pocket as he returns to the broadcast with plenty of style.
Boy, you're right, Dave Ryan. That sure was flush. You see the profile of Pete Weber, the great hand at the bottom of the swing, and the reaction, as only PDW can do.
Where's the sunglasses? Because at an outdoor event on the PBA Tour, had success with it. Now keeps them on. And split time here for Mika. 1-2-10.
Ball comes in light, leaving the 2-4-10. You want to get the ball over into this area, slide the 2-pin over into the 10, and the ball takes out the 4.
2-4-10, excuse me. Split conversion rate, he's perfect.
Brand new pins we're using. They've been in the machines for exactly 2 hours this morning.
Misses. On lane 18, an early open for Koivuniemi.
See, and that's one of the struggles this week. The players tried to avoid open frames. If they did miss their target, if they did throw a bad shot, you wanted to leave yourself something you could make. Mika denied Pete Weber the Grand Slam by beating him at the Masters. Pete Weber off to a good start because of the fact that he did make the one bad shot where he went Brooklyn, but he struck. Mika's bad shot resulted in an open frame.
Back to Mika. More trouble. Another split for him.
Yeah, and that's an ugly one. That's the big four, and that's overcompensation from the shot on the right lane where he went light. Excuse me, 4, 6, 7. In any event, very difficult to make.
Wow. He'll have a tough climb with a back-to-back open unless he can convert. Just takes the 4-7 out. Almost got the messenger across the deck for the 6, but leaves it up.
All right, come on, man.
Huge opening now for Pete Weber. Has not been on TV since last February 10th. Almost a full year, in fact, to the day. Looking for a 4-bagger to start. That was at the Tar Heel Open in North Carolina. Strike here, he's up 48 pins. Crossing over Brooklyn again.
Well,
I don't think that's letting it off my hand very well, but
yeah, great result. Not a very well executed shot. Pete grabs it at the bottom, and he's like, wow, Mika just opened twice in a row, and I got 2 huge gifts to give me 4 in a row.
The dynamic Pete Weber returns to TV with a tremendous start. 4-bagger. Strike here. Watching with the ESPN in sync. He's got a 58-pin lead. Again comes in high.
I pay for it once.
Yeah, he paid a little bit for that, but not a split the way Mika had it, just the 6-10.
Exactly, Dave. I mean, same kind of hit. Mika left the big ugly split on. Pete only leaves the 6-10.
Wasting no time. Works quickly and covers for his mark. Still a significant lead as long as he avoids the open frame that Mika could not back-to-back in frames 3 and 4. Walter Ray Williams Jr. awaits on the stepladder format of the championship. He has a huge lead in the points category over the rest of the field. And on the line, 50,000. Double points for our 3rd major, in addition to $100,000. Big payday, big tour point day. Mika needs a lot of those.
Well, Walter Ray could basically take Paige to Hawaii for a month and still make it into the top 8 for the World Championships. And right now, Mika needs to do a lot more of this. A superb shot. That ball ends up high flush, all 10 in the pit. You know, I talk a little bit about grabbing it. You don't want to grab it at the bottom. Now, on an easier pattern, like, say, a house condition that you bowl on in league, if you grab the ball at the bottom of the swing, because of the way the lanes are oiled, you don't see the change of direction down the lane. The ball still gets to the pocket. On this pattern, if you grab it at the bottom, it's almost always disaster.
Needs it over here, has it. Probably the best ball he's thrown on the day. Comes in the 6th frame. He's down 36 pins, though, to PDW. It's the first match of the 60th U.S. Open presented by Jackson Hewitt from Fountain Valley in Southern California. The dynamic Pete Weber looking good one more time. First 16 times this event was held, known then as the BPA All-Star, was played in Chicago. Since then, 28 different cities, the 2nd straight year. We're here in Southern California. Learn much more about the history of the U.S. Open, all 4 of our PBA majors on the web, PBA.com, the best bowling website out there. Live simulcast events going on last night, all the way to the final day of match play. Back to Pete. That came in light. Another break for the 3rd time with wife Tracy watching closely. Pete, fortuitous.
Well, right now, it looks like Pete Weber's got Walter Ray Williams Jr.'s horseshoe in his back pocket because all the breaks going Pete's way. Mika's really hasn't bowled that bad a game. 2 bad breaks. Pete Weber's got all the good breaks.
On lane 17. This is the pocket again. Hasn't really been on all day.
Well, and didn't take advantage of that trip 2 pin in the 6th frame. margin for error is minimal. Remember, we had over 7,500 games bowled this week, one 300 game.
That was by Michael Haugen Jr. We'll see him in the next round as the second seed in our stepladder format. Back to Koivuniemi. We mentioned he was the first ever U.S. Open winner, foreign-born. But when the event was called the BPA All-Star, Andy Verapapa won it back-to-back years, 46 and 47. He actually was U.S. citizen at the time, but born in Italy. And that's a ball Mika wants to see. The big Finn with his 2 career titles. The NFL Pro Bowl on ABC Sports. John Madden can't fly. So
yeah, and the Madden Cruiser doesn't float.
It could, though. I'm sure by now they could remodel that. Why not? 17, he's in the pocket.
And you hear Mika Koivuniemi yell, latte. That's Finnish for carry. And right now, Mika Koivuniemi is out bowling Pete Weber, and he's down by 16 pins.
What a comeback from the back-to-back open frames in the 3rd and 4th. He has a 4-bagger going and a 242 match. Working on a spare. Back to Pete.
All right.
We'll pencil him in as 9 spare here. He'll be going at a 227 pace. Mika Koivuniemi, working on 4 in a row, can strike out for 242.
See the single pin conversion rate goes up a notch for Pete Weber.
Come on, Pete. Come on.
5th all-time on the wins list. Pete Weber with 28 titles. It's been a while. A full year since he's won.
And you see how Pete's ball reaction is kind of what we call the in-between. A little high on one lane, a little light on the other, having a difficult time getting it to face the 1-3 pocket.
The ESPN instinct didn't like it.
Jesus Christ, Pete.
5 pin.
Sir, let it off your hand.
Easier said than done when you feel like you're bowling in a phone booth for 51 games. That ball never got to the right. But the easy spare.
Not often you see a PBA pro at this level leave a 5 pin. Not exactly an item of pride, but Pete knows he's got to improve. Now suddenly, chance for a 5-bagger, and he can cut it to 4 pins with a strike. Mika Koivuniemi, with his family watching closely back home in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Hurries in. Shreds the rack. Down 4 pins. Pete sees a huge lead evaporate.
And 2 more strikes and 5 pins, and Mika is going to put an end to Pete Weber.
His wife, Lena, daughters, Ida and Lydia, watching closely back home. Mika telling us he decided to settle in Ann Arbor, coming here in the mid-90s because he's got a large Finnish community. So really feels at home, and his family is plenty of people to speak with, their native language, when Mika's on the road on the PBA Tour. Closing in. Came in high.
And that shot was grabbed. We see Pete Weber, when he grabs it, the ball goes Brooklyn. Mika throwing it harder and straighter. When he grabs it, it goes right through the nose. Just reached back to try to get a little bit more on it, and that's the one thing you could not do this week. There was no oil in the middle of the lane to keep the ball on line when you did that. That's why the scores were so low this week.
All right, finish up strong on lane 17. That last replay from our crew, a great look at how far down the lane Mika releases the ball.
Strike here, Mika will shoot 220. Pete Weber would need a mark with reasonable count. Strike spare, he's an automatic winner.
So the rematch after Mika beat Pete for a major championship. Here's a strike. Now Pete has his opportunity. Mika strikes to finish at 220.
Mika was kind of giving it the farewell wave, but let me tell you something. A mark is no give me. I mean, seen Pete's ball all over the place. He's been light on the right lane. 2-3 shots in a row. Another 2-pin with 10-pin standing. Could be an open frame.
Tracy wants a big mark here. Gets it and then some.
You want to know why Pete Weber's won 6 majors? Shots like that. Okay, so a couple were all over the map. But you know what? When Pete Weber needs it, he throws shots like this.
Big emotion from Pete. Just 5 pins needed now. Keep on the lane. Got 2 balls to do it. On the first, knocks them all down.
And that was the ball change. The match is in hand. Pete Weber just switched balls, tried a different line. Even though he shot 230 this game, he didn't like his look. A couple Brooklyns, couple light hits. Used that shot there to go to a stronger ball. Moved in and opened the lane up a little bit.
It's all right, all right.
He won't mind a poor ball there because he's off to the next round. Next, he'll take on Michael Haugen Jr., who's bidding for his first ever title. He and wife Tracy will talk the match over and think about the next. The Big Finn is done for now. He will not defend his championship. Pete Weber advances to the next. Back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the U.S. Open was known as the BPAA All-Stars. And the Miami Convention Center was the site in 1962 where Hall of Famer Dick Weber would win the first of his incredible 4 All-Star titles. He also won in 1963, 65, and 1966. 26 years later, Dick would watch as son Pete captured his first U.S. Open title over Marshall Holman. Dick and Pete are still the only father-son tandem ever to win this major title. And Pete Weber with a big victory here today over Mika Koivuniemi. And he advances off to take on Michael Haugen Jr. Check in now with the days in on the road. We're going to Don Carter's All-Star Lanes West near Dallas next week. It's a 12:30 Eastern start, 11:30 in the Central Time Zone in Texas. Orlando after that, all leading up to the World Championship at Taylor Sportsplex Arena Bowling for our season finale and the big prize money on the line. And the regionals as well to talk about from Diamond Head, the South Region at Park 10 Lanes. This week's Days In on the road. Leslie Goodell with us as well, joined by some special guests. Leslie.
Yes, our 2 special guests are Mike Lister, the president of Jackson Hewitt, the sponsor of this great event, and Steve Miller, the president and CEO of the PBA. Mike, let's start with you. In a time of economic struggle where so many companies are scaling back in areas of things like sports, you guys have jumped on board. What about the PBA appealed to you so much?
Well, I saw 2 brands really that have been around for a while that have been experiencing explosive growth recently. So for us, we are just happy to jump right in.
And Steve Miller, this tour has come so far since you guys have taken over in the last couple of years. But what's next? I mean, how much farther can you go?
Well, we think we can go a lot farther. The idea is to provide compelling competition, a meaningful connection between consumers and spectators, and creative companies like Jackson Hewitt. We're looking forward to the future.
And we certainly have that compelling competition today, Dave Ryan.
Leslie, thanks. Michael Haugen Jr. trying to become the 6th new champion of this PBA season. Only 13 have ever won a major as their first title. A couple weeks ago in Reno was Brian Smith from Roseburg, Oregon. Another one from the West Coast is Michael Haugen Jr. from Victorville, California, about 90 miles from where we are here in Fountain Valley. Pete Weber is his foe next. Patrick Healy Jr., Eugene McCune, Mike Devaney, Brian Smith, Lonnie Walchik, all new winners on tour this year. Perhaps Michael Haugen Jr. does it again. Let's find out how he got here. Despite losing to Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the positioning round yesterday here in Fountain Valley, Michael Haugen Jr. managed to stay ahead of the big Finn Mika Koivuniemi by only 4 pins to qualify second for today's show.
Well, his last time on television, he faced Pete Weber, and a 279 that he bowled would have been enough on any given day to win that title. But Pete Weber got the best of you with the 289. Could you have scripted a better rematch?
It doesn't get any better than this. U.S. Open, Pete and myself, it's on, baby.
16 different winners this year. Certainly room for a 17th, Dave.
And a chance for back-to-back new tour winners, Leslie, after Lonnie Walchek won in Vegas a week ago. Presented by Jackson Hewitt, it's the 3rd major of this PBA Tour season. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, we just heard from Leslie.
Ball change, going to a more aggressive ball. See if he's moving right and going straighter with that, or if he's still playing the same inside line.
Second generation Hall of Famer, PDW. Trip 4.
I hit the pocket on the right lane.
Pete moved further left and went with the Mika Koivuniemi loft. Watch this. There's a little bit of loft. When you get that far left, if you don't loft it, it's in the left channel. And the nice break trip in the 4-pin.
From Victorville, California, not far from where we are here in Southern California, he is inland, away from the coast, toward the desert, toward Vegas.
All right.
And he comes
I
in
was
high.
the first one bad. Just get me through this one, and we'll be okay.
Michael Haugen playing about 25 boards right of where Pete Weber is, throwing it very straight with his hand up the back. And in my opinion, this shot is tailor-made for Michael Haugen Jr.
Okay. 5th appearance of the season for Haugen Jr. The TV time of his career, rather. And you see by the numbers so far, the right percentage is close. Spare conversion number in Haugen Jr.'s favor as well. Those are in match play only. And the only 300 game belongs to Michael Haugen Jr. on the tough U.S. Open oil pattern. 9-pin.
That's supposed to be your shot, not mine.
You know, when the lane conditions get tough, Dave Ryan, the best, most easiest, efficient way to get to the pocket is the straighter you go, the easier it is to get there. Throwing that big hook ball, run into all kinds of trouble. That's why I think Michael Haugen did so well this week.
And continues to do well on the single pin conversion rate. He's perfect.
His A game is straight and firm.
Just the one head-to-head matchup on TV between these two, and it was dramatic. In Louisville for a title. Pete threw a 289 at Haugen Jr. threw a 279. A great match that had some emotion and fire. Trying to adjust, and that's his best ball today.
Exactly the reaction he was looking for on the right lane. Now, when you watch Pete Weber's hand do this at finish, see how it's nice and open? You see that? When his hand is open, he does not grab it, the ball stays on line. When you see those fingers go to the left, that's a grab.
Looking for a triple to start the day in this match, and a 21-pin lead.
Letting it off your hand.
Didn't like it, crossing over. On the 5 and the 9 up.
Lane has just got my number.
Pete might want to consider maybe moving right and going straight and hard like Michael Haugen is on this lane, because he's having all kinds of trouble. See, the problem is, if he gets the ball a little bit further to the right, he runs the risk of it hanging and leaving a 2-8-10 split.
Chops and misses the 9. An open frame for Pete Weber, who really had been kind of precariously hanging on the edge with some lucky shots in his first match, and he pays a price now.
And this is something that you just don't see Pete Weber do. He's a fantastic spare shooter in the chop, the 5-8, excuse me, the 5-9. Hard to believe, especially in a match for a national championship.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
10-pin up.
What do you
Michael
want?
didn't like it.
God. All right, stay patient.
Two pretty good shots in a row. Solid 9, ringing 10. With a spare here, he'll be up by 2 pins.
His best finish so far this year, tied for 9th, back-to-back weeks in Detroit, where Walter Ray Williams won his title, and Grand Rapids the following week. The last time these two met on TV, the Greater Louisville Open last season, it was an incredible finish. Best finish ever for Michael Haugen Jr. That final in Louisville. November 25th, the last time he was on TV. And he crosses over.
I must have been watching Pete's first match. Ball left of target, will not hold line, even when you're throwing it straight from second arrow. Nice Brooklyn strike. Right now, Pete Weber trailing by 2. Right lane is his friend. The left lane, big mystery.
Fourth frame for Pete. Didn't like it either. Looked like it was coming in light. Had to really hustle back to the pocket.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. It did. The key is it got back to the pocket. Now, Pete's looking at the left lane here, trying to figure out what in the world to do. He's got a nice feel going on the right lane. He's got the confidence level high on that lane. Left lane's a different story. When your confidence level's low, when you're unsure of what the ball's going to do, that helps you to grab it even more.
Wow, I let it off my hand.
Messenger, 10!
Baby, right there.
A nice break, rolling the 10, and Pete Weber went back to the bowling ball he used in the first game. Is it the little flex? Remember, it's not how well you score, it's how you celebrate.
5'7", listed at 135 pounds, but solid muscle, as we saw there. Back to Haugen Jr. All 10 down to the pit, 60 feet to success for Haugen Jr. Much more bowling coming your way next week from the greater Dallas area. The Days Inn Open, 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 in the Central Time Zone. Don't miss the action from Don Carter's All-Star Lanes next week here on ESPN, every week as well, all the way as the March to the World Championship in March continues in Taylor, Michigan. Remember, the top 8 in the points list get to the round of 16. They skip all the qualifying in Taylor. Come on, a month away. 10 pin.
At least you hit the pocket that time.
Michael Haugen's getting to the pocket, but his carry percentage is extremely low. He's 1 for 4 in shots that have hit the 1-3. Pete Weber's carry, on the other hand, very good. So early on, the hook ball out carrying the straight ball.
Come on, I'll take you home with me.
10 pin. Michael Haugen Jr. a 1-pin lead through 6 semifinal match. Our third major with so many tour points and so much money. $100,000 on the line to the winner from SoCal. More on the way. In the 1984 U.S. Open, Mark Roth qualified as the tournament leader and would go on to win the title. A great championship match over the always colorful Guppy Troop. Out of the impressive 34 career titles, the U.S. Open will be Roth's sole jewel in bowling's Triple Crown. One to remember for Mark Roth.
Welcome back. Mark Roth and Mika Koivuniemi have a couple of things in common. Our defending champ just got ousted in the previous match, which brings us to our Dexter approach. Mark Roth had the high backswing and the loft, and so does Mika Koivuniemi. Look at the height of that backswing. Go ahead and roll. Now watch this beautiful push away. Now, a guy that's 6'4" usually has big knee bend. Mika does not. This is what helps him to loft the bowling ball. Watch how far out on the lane this bowling ball gets before it gets to the ground. It's what he grew up on in Finland. He's a product of his environment, and this is what made Mika so good.
Mika Koivuniemi, they're subject to this week's Dexter approach. Mika telling us bowling may be the most popular sport in Finland with a ball. Hockey is first, far and away, but more so than soccer, which was surprising to hear. Now Pete, 6 frame, down 1, but a chance to go up 9. With a triple.
Needs help.
Like it. Oh, 7-10.
Well, he didn't like it off his hand. Ball got back to the pocket, but what a horrible break. And in my opinion, this is the worst break in bowling because you end up with an open frame. Mark Roth, one of 3 to ever make it on TV. Mika Koivuniemi made that split this week.
Good break.
We saw a couple last night, as a matter of fact, just rocking the house here at Fountain Bowl. 7-10 conversions in the midst of the final 24 match play. There's the lane comparison, Randy.
Likes the right lane, obviously. Left lane's been giving him fits. He's made the ball change. Struck his last ball on the left lane.
Another tough break.
Well, that's 2 I let off my
Dave
hand on
Osborne
that lane.
and Dennis Matthews, a great job of running the show here at Fountain Bowl. Fountain Valley, California. We're about 45 minutes away from LAX, downtown Los Angeles, as Tracy watches another difficult spare here. Gets it! Kicks out the 10, a big one.
Right now, Pete Weber is fishing and searching for the answer to get the ball to the pocket. In the meantime, this spare keeps Pete Weber in the match.
That's pin action off the wall.
Michael Haugen has the best line to the pocket between the 2 players. Just a matter of him making the shots.
He's got a lead. Can he close it? Not exactly the pin explosion he wanted with that ball. Just one, though.
What you're doing, that's
for
not how you
Mark.
get it done.
Well, that ball went right through the face, and he almost struck.
That's not the way to do this.
Pete Weber hits the pocket, the 6 frame on that lane. Gets an open frame.
His max goes down to
Don't hold too soon.
236. Takes care of the mark. 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. 8 frame. Yeah! That's what he wanted in the pocket.
That's what I'm talking about. Right there.
14-pin lead for Michael Haugen Jr.
Come on.
Pete Weber, pretty good on the right lane. All the issues are on the left lane.
He needs another classic PDW rally. Right here, right now. Does he have it? That's the start. You're seeing on the bottom of your screen how some of the other PBA stars fared here at the U.S. Open in a different combination of match play, total pinfall. And Walter Ray Williams Jr. absolutely ran away with. He ran away and hit early with an incredible effort to clinch the top seed and at least $50,000 for second place. He's hoping for another major.
And only 1 amateur to make it in the round of match play, the top 24.
Looking for a double. Foundation frame to be down by 4. Comes in high again, 6-10.
Light, high, light, high, light,
Remains.
high. Got no clue on this lane.
Well, the only good news
My number.
is that Pete gets to finish on the right lane. The problem is he only has 1 frame there, and I don't know if it'll be enough.
Takes care of the 6-10 for his mark.
That lane, I have no clue on that lane.
Michael Haugen's in the driver's seat. If Michael Haugen makes the shots necessary, he's going to advance to bowl Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the title.
No career PBA titles for Michael Haugen Jr. He has won 7 times on the regional level. In fact, was the West Regional Player of the Year in '97. So plenty of success and experience there, but not with the big timers yet. Needs another one. 2-pin.
I might be able to make that. That's still good.
Well, if he fills frames, if he stays clean, spare here, a mark with good count in the 10th frame, he's going to advance. Spare here, strike spare in the 10th frame, he shoots 206. The best Pete Weber can do, 202.
Easily done for his mark. With family and friends watching, they make the 2-hour drive or so from Victorville, California, on the way to Vegas. They've come inland toward the coasts. Groundhog Day, or How Day, I guess. And it is Groundhog Day today.
Well, what's the deal with that if he sees his shadow or something?
Yeah, near Pittsburgh, Puxatawny Pete saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter is what we're told.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
It's official. You don't care, you live in Florida.
There's a winner.
That's what I'm talking about.
Michael Haugen will advance to bowl Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the U.S. Open title.
Huge shot for Haugen Jr.
Trip 4, he needs 7 pins to advance in 2 balls.
So the revenge looks like it comes today after losing in Louisville, his last TV show, bowling so well. No help on the 9-pin, that's all right.
Enough.
It's enough. He will take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the U.S. Open Championship, and Pete Weber's run will fall a bit short.
You can make noise, it's okay.
Urging the crowd to cheer him on.
Thank you. See what happens when you make all your spares and you open?
Thank you.
The legend.
All right, one more.
28 times. Offers his congratulations to a player who has not won yet on tour. Perhaps that changes today.
Well, the left lane was my doom. That was for sure.
Never quite figured it out, did he, Randy?
No, he didn't. He switched balls, he moved left, he tried to throw it further right, nothing worked.
That's got to be a tough lane for anyone if Pete Weber can't make the adjustments necessary.
Right, and the only thing Pete Weber didn't do on that lane that Michael Haugen is doing is going really straight from second arrow. But you can bet any amount you want that Walter Ray Williams Jr. will be going straight.
Still $25,000. Third place for Pete Weber. But Michael Haugen has clinched at least $50,000, perhaps $100,000 in his immediate future. He takes on the legend Walter Ray Williams Jr. next. We will have our 3rd different major champion this year. Jason Couch, Brian Smith, and now either Michael Haugen Jr. or Walter Ray Williams Jr. They are set for the championship match of the 60th U.S. Open presented by Jackson Hewitt. Dave Husted knows a thing or two about winning the U.S. Open. He's done it 3 times. He's the subject of today's Miller High Life Get to Know Them.
Dave Husted. My family's in the bowling business, so I kind of grew up in the bowling center, if you will. I was always at the bowling center. I'd walk there after school and practice and do what I had to do so I could practice, and then ride home with my dad when he got off work, and then do it again the next day. I was never the best of students, but I was, I think I was like a 3.1 or 3.2 GPA, but I didn't really study much, to be honest with you. 1982 U.S. Open, it was my first title. Very, very satisfying, especially to win in that arena on national television was really, really, really neat. If I wasn't bowling, I'd probably go into the teaching field or something of that nature. been fortunate enough to kind of be living my dream.
Dave Husted, the subject of this week's Miller High Life Get to Know Them. 9th TV appearance for Walter Ray Williams Jr., 3rd in a row, a tour best. Can he win again? We find out soon. Johnny Petraglia qualified as the tournament leader at the 1977 U.S. Open. He would end the title match over Bill Spigner with 10 straight strikes. In the process, collecting $10,000 by shooting at .279 and winning the U.S. Open. Petraglia would complete Bowling's Triple Crown only 3 years later by winning the PBA National Championship. And speaking of threes, Walter Ray Williams Jr. has 3 majors to his credit. Won U.S. Open in 1998. This tournament founded back in 1941. First known as the BPAA All-Star, and now the U.S. Open. It's a huge major championship with a lot of points and money on the line. Next week, the tour rolls on to Dallas for the PBA Days in Open starting at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 in Texas in the Central Time Zone. Don't miss the action from Don Carter's All-Star Lanes. Saw Darn's success a moment ago. Next week, 12:30 Eastern Time, and every week on ESPN leading up to the World Championship in March. Welcome back to Fountain Valley. Dave Ryan and Randy Peterson. Leslie Goodell handling the interview. So Walter Ray Williams Jr. with an incredible year, a 9th TV show. That's tour best, but still just 1 title. And I asked him last night, does it bother you, just the 1 championship? He said, yeah, I want to go back to be PBA Player of the Year. I've got to start winning.
Yeah, sure it does. I mean, TV 9 times, you figure the law of averages would eventually have to catch up with him. He, in his mind, feels that he should have won at least half of those tournaments. And if I were to make a prediction as to who's going to win now, seeing how I'm always wrong, I'm going to go with Junior.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Haugen Jr. and Walter Ray Williams Jr., just in case you're following that. Geico Direct Championship recap, Randy.
Thanks. Match number 1 saw Pete Weber bowl a clean game. Early 4-bagger, taking advantage of a couple of nice breaks, defeating defending champ Mika Koivuniemi. And in the match you just saw, Michael Haugen Jr. taking care of Pete. 206 to 202, setting up a great championship match. The message here, staying clean was the difference in both matches.
That is our Geico Direct Championship recap. Walter Ray Williams Jr. looks for another major. He wants a big 4 to his credit. Walter Ray Williams Jr. finished yesterday with a field best 19-5 match play record, including winning 15 of his first 16 matches. He qualified as the tournament leader, makes another TV show, trying for his 2nd title of the season.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. has won the last 5 matches when he's gone in as the tournament leader. And Walter Ray, you totally dominated this tournament this week. How much of how well you did during this week does that help you coming into today's final?
Oh, it definitely helps. I just had to win the 1 game. I've been bowling well all week. I feel good. I've been bowling well for quite a few weeks now. I'm ready.
Michael Haugen, you have the revenge match under your belt now. 1 more, and it'll be that first tournament title. How much would that mean to you, not just to win your first title, but to win a major in your first title and to beat a Hall of Famer?
Just listen to this. Do I need to say any more?
Good luck.
A man of few words, Leslie. Michael Haugen Jr. against Walter Ray Williams Jr. $100,000 and double tour points. $50,000 are on the line for a major champion today. A lot of support for Haugen Jr. here in Southern California. Chance to really increase his winnings. Gets the late trip on the 7. He's already clinched 50,000, so he's up to at least 63,000 plus and a chance to get into 6 figures.
Last time we saw Walter Ray Williams Jr. bowl in the title of a major, it was the Masters, and it was Brian Smith winning his first career title.
No help on the 10. So a split very early for Walter Ray. Again, he's had to wait since we got on the air more than an hour ago to bowl his 1 match.
I watched Walter Ray warming up, and he looked confused. His ball reaction was fooling him, something that you don't see very often from this guy.
Come on, baby.
Hoping that it kicks over. Instead, leaves 2 pins up there. The 4 and the 10. By the numbers this week. Everything even in terms of the score and the game's bowl, of course, all the way through match play late last night. Spare conversion rate close as well. A little bit better for Walter Ray with the strikes.
Yeah, and Walter Ray's leading the tour in average at 225, and this week, almost 10 pins a game less.
That's flush in the pocket, and he liked it on the left lane that gave Pete Weber so much trouble.
Yeah, but again, Walter Ray and Michael Haugen are both going to go straight. When the lanes get tough, straighter is greater. You see Michael Haugen's reaction.
First ever TV head-to-head matchup against Walter Ray Williams Jr. for Haugen comes right now. Sweating it out, as we saw a moment ago. Talking to it. Help! As it comes in high on the 10-pin. John Berglund, we met last night, the BPA Executive Director, here today helping with this amazing event, keeping everything in complete order for us. So a double for Haugen Jr. to start, a 22-pin lead on the left lane. He's done well.
Likes the left lane, the demise of Pete Weber.
Oh, boy.
But again,
make this one a little better.
Two completely different angles. And here's early on the difference. Walter Ray goes through the nose, leaves the split. Michael Haugen Jr. goes through the nose, gets a double.
This is a player who's only ranked 50th on the PBA Tour in points right now. You saw how much money he's won. Not much, just 13,000 plus in all the events. Everything increasing in addition to his strike stat on the left lane. He's in the pocket flush.
Way to parlay that break.
The top 8 qualify automatically for the final 16. They skip all the qualifying at Taylor, Michigan, the season-ending World Championship. Those are the players on the bubble right now, including Angelo we saw last night in the round of 24. Got to the final 24. Lonnie Walczek won last week. Vegas. Walter Ray gets hot with a double. On the line today, big points, 50,000. Already, these two have clinched the 40,000 second place point total. In the fourth frame, looking for a triple. If he strikes here, he's down by 12. That's a great stat for someone who's done so well in his incredible career as the tournament leader. In this scenario, the old format, which he likes very much, crossing over a Brooklyn strike.
And we're even.
Despite the struggle on the first frame for Walter Ray Williams Jr., just a total of 8 pins down for him there. Now a triple. Things are tight in the championship match. The U.S. Open, it's all on the line. More coming up. Last week in his Tour Best 8th TV show in Vegas, Walter Ray Williams Jr. lost to Patrick Allen, 257-248. It's awfully tough on Walter's wife, Paige, who's with him every step of the way. Lots of drama for her, too, and she's joined now by Leslie.
Yes, Paige is as much of a staple on the tour as her husband is, and he's always so composed, Paige. Are you able to sit back here and be as composed as your husband?
Well, I've been doing this for 17 years, so I've had quite a bit of practice. I still get nervous, but I realized a long time ago that my getting nervous wasn't going to affect the outcomes, so I just sit here, do my clap thing, and hope for the best.
He's been like a machine this year. What do you think the secret has been for him this season?
He's throwing the ball great. I've never seen him throw the ball any better than he is now. So we're not complaining. We're going to take it when we can get it.
Your husband's playing with the crowd while we sit here and do this interview, Paige. Thank you.
We were speaking with Paige last night in the Players Lounge and informed her that Walter Ray had clinched the $50,000 second place prize. She said, "Oh, I thought it was only $35,000. Hey, that's cool. 15,000 more. Has he ever been successful? Tour leader in all major categories, and his wife Paige with him every step of the way.
And if Walter Ray wins today, he will go over $3 million in career earnings.
Already the all-time leader in that category. Watching Haugen Jr. with the ESPN NC. 7-pin. Thought he threw it well.
Well, the good Lord giveth and the good Lord taketh away, and right there he took it away. Got the good break from the shot going through the nose, and this was dead perfect. Solid 7.
I know it's close, guys.
For someone who's never won a tournament, he appears pretty relaxed. Stepping up with the crowd a little bit.
Definitely playing to the crowd.
Right. Fifth frame, 11-pin lead. A list of new champions, including last week at the Storm Classic in Vegas, Lonnie Walchek of Wichita, Kansas, and Brian Smith in Reno. 2 weeks ago, that was for a major championship, so our second straight major possibility with a brand new winner. This guy right here, help with a 9. Can you believe it didn't fall? Oh, man.
Well, let's see. This is almost a 4-9. Then the 4 goes down, and then the 9 almost goes down.
Teetering and just would not go on the verge. Picks up the mark. But now Walter A. Williams
No
Jr.
more 9s.
After the early open has a chance to even things up with a strike. He's working on a triple. This is the 5th frame for him. With everything on the line, the 60th U.S. Open, presented by Jackson Hewitt. Lots of focus.
Oh, get it
Didn't
right.
like it.
Yes.
He'll like the result, though.
Come on.
Last week, you heard Patrick Allen when he took care of Walter Ray. When he struck out in the 10th frame, he said, don't give him a chance. You see the profile of the great Walter Ray Williams Jr.? Well, the last 2 shots let Walter Ray Williams Jr. back in. Walter Ray just took advantage of it. 5th frame on the right lane. Working on 4 in a row.
Some of the fans have that little mask.
Yeah, baby, come on. Yeah.
Flush in the pocket. Shreds the rack. He liked it all the way.
And as many times as I've seen Walter Ray Williams Jr. bowl on television, 141 times to be exact, I've never seen him this determined and this focused.
5-bagger for Walter Ray Williams Jr. And yes, it is time to sweat for Haugen Jr. Because the pressure cooker just got cranked up several degrees. He comes in high and some trouble with a split here. Difficult spare coming up.
Well, Walter Ray Williams Jr. just put his hands around Michael Haugen's throat, and Michael Haugen felt it on this shot. This ball goes high, goes right through the nose, leaves the 4-6-7.
Bounce him out, come on.
Wanted some pin action off the wall, doesn't get it. 6 remains up in open frame. And as we saw, Walter Ray recovered, but the earlier the open, the better, obviously. And now, this late in the match, that could be big trouble. .244 max for Haugen Jr. Walter Ray on a 278 clip if he stays perfect. 10-pin.
Ball comes in just a pinch light.
Come on.
Leaving the half-10. This is where you really start to feel it in a major championship. You're down, you're behind. Start to get in the latter part of the game, 7th, 8th, 9th frames, and this is where you really start to feel the heat.
Trying to keep up on the single conversion rate, and 100% he does that. And NFL Beach Bash tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. 7th frame.
Yeah!
Help with the 4 late. 6-bagger for Walter Ray Williams Jr. And the strength on Haugen Jr.'s neck just went a little bit higher and tighter.
Well, he just stuck the dagger in with that hit there. And what a phenomenal break, tripping the 4-pin to give him 6 in a row and a 34-pin lead, 8th frame.
Looking for a 44-pin lead. Oh, wanted the 10.
What?
He really liked the shot and can't believe it, but knows with the long stretch, the 6-bagger, he's in great shape.
Come on.
To win his 4th major, 2nd ever U.S. Open title. Look at the start and the finish. I mean, he really struggled early and then blitzed the field.
In round 1, he averaged at 189, and then he proceeded to go 15-1 in match play. For those of you keeping score, the record in match play, when we used our round-robin match play style format, 22-2.
Come on.
Rare to see Paige with much emotion. As Leslie talked with her a few moments ago, mouthing some good luck there to her husband. Haugen Jr., the local product in a big hole. Gets help on the fourth.
Well, it was going high again, but it wasn't that high. No higher than Walter Ray's trip 4.
Your hand strike for that next one.
When you start feeling pressure, the tendency is to grab at the bottom, and when you grab it, the ball goes high. Situation is simple. Michael Haugen Jr. can strike out for 234. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is going at a 237 pace. He must strike on this ball.
On lane 17, ESPN gets it. Big shot for Haugen Jr.
He set up the 10th frame with that strike, Dave.
Still down 23 pins.
Needs to fill a strike, spare strike, 9th, 10th, and 11th frames. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is a winner.
Foundation frame. Look at it. Gets help. 4-pin.
Well, we've seen it all day. The battle of who gets the most breaks.
Too close. Come on.
Walter Ray tripping 2 4-pins. Biggest shot of the week right now for Walter Ray. A mark in 8 pins. He's a winner.
On the verge of another U.S. Open championship. On lane 17. Carey! Wanted the 10.
All right, come on. You can make this.
Went through the nose in the first frame. Had the Brooklyn strike in the 4th. Everything else has been around the pocket. Keeping it in play. Only 1 open frame.
With 9 TV shows to his credit. A title already. Most would think he's a lock to win the Player of the Year again, which he wanted to do so badly. Picks up his mark. Now just the 8-pin count, and he is a winner. There is no question if he wins today, he is the Player of the Year. Hands down. Got to be.
I think you're right. 8 pins here. I think you have to pencil Walter Ray in as Player of the Year.
Looking to become the first double tour winner of the season. Does he have it here for a major? 8, 9. Oh, my!
He's your winner.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. for a 4th time in his incredible career is a major champion. His 2nd U.S. Open comes today in Fountain Valley, California. What a run.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
The legendary script of his incredible bowling history has a new chapter. The 2003 U.S. Open champion. It's Walter Ray Williams Jr. of Ocala, Florida. Originally from California with family and friends here. And of course his wife, Paige Pennington.
Woo! Yeah, baby. Woo! Yeah! Wow.
His 36th career title.
Yeah.
The fans with their masks loving it. Gets closer to the legendary Earl Anthony's 41. And for all intents and purposes, with Paige watching closely, has wrapped up another Player of the Year award.
All right. Woo!
Thank you, Carmen. Sorry, Molly.
Great run for Haugen Jr.
Thank you.
Bidding for his first ever championship with his family and friends watching. Comes
Walter don't look good in the hat.
One step shy.
Thanks, man. Except for that last shot.
Much more on the way from Fountain Valley, California. The man of the hour, Walter Ray Williams Jr. He has a major championship here in Southern California. Disneyland, about 45 minutes away, the Magic Kingdom. And a magical moment again for the great Walter Ray Williams Jr., who's joined now by Leslie Goodell.
Well, fittingly, the man who dominated this tournament all week long wins his 4th major, his 36th career title. Is this major and winning this any different than the other 3 and any better in any way?
Well, any win is great. It was, considering the start I had this week when I was 60 under after the first round, I don't know, in 150th place. I don't even know where I was, but I was so far out of it. I knew I needed to get going. The next round was a little better. Fortunately, the 3rd round from then on was really good for me. And to have a good match against Mike like we did, that was a good match. Fortunately, I got a few extra breaks that you need to have to win.
You left that first frame open. How did you regroup at that point, and what did you do differently after that?
Well, I thought I threw a decent shot. I was trying to look at 14 on that lane, so I moved into 15 and made better shots, and that seemed to work until the end when I got a little slower and tripped the 4s out, fortunately, and that last shot to trip that 6 out.
I looked over in the middle of the match, and you were sitting down, and you were saying a few words to yourself. What do you tell yourself in the middle of a match like that?
I was telling myself to hit that 15th board. You have to throw good shots in a tough condition like this, and I was trying to tell myself just throw good shots and try to hit that 15th board.
And your wife, Paige, by your side. Paige, does this ever get old?
No, actually, I could do it every week. Every week would be fine with me.
Any plans for the money yet?
Pay a few motorhome payments and mortgage payments, and maybe a little shopping. Just a little.
Walter Ray, you're the first repeat winner on the tour this year. Why has it been so difficult to repeat? Because this is your 9th show, but your 2nd win.
Yeah, it's. I think part of it has to do with the talent pool that's out here. There's so many good players out here. There's 50, 60 guys that can win any given week. And I think the format has a little bit to do with it. It's a tough format. I've had, 4 title matches. Fortunately, I won a couple or 5 title matches. So this is 2 out of 5. So I need to make another show and win another tournament.
Well, he's got 36 career titles. The great Earl Anthony has 41, so he's not far off, Dave.
Les, that's what he's trying to catch. The legendary late, great Earl Anthony with his 41 titles. So, Randy Peterson, Earl Anthony had 6 times the Player of the Year award. Another win for Walter Ray Williams Jr., as Leslie said, up to 36 career titles. Any doubt in your mind he's the Player of the Year this season?
Absolutely not. I think you have to pencil him in now. 9 shows, a major win, another victory. He's got to be the front runner. Over $200,000 in earnings, over $3 million in career earnings. He's got to be the guy.
He told us last night how disappointed he was losing to Brian Smith at the ABC Masters in Reno with a major title on the line, but today he delivers big time.
Yeah, you know, when I saw Walter Ray when he went on, he looked tense. For a guy that's been on TV as much as Walter Ray's been on, he looked nervous. He looked tense to me. It was almost like he wanted it so bad that he was a little tight at first, I thought. But being the great champion that he is, he rebounded from the open frame and then really put it to Michael Haugen Jr.
And he made a great point with Leslie a moment ago about the early open frame, but he rebounded well in the championship match. Let's see what happened, Randy.
Well, here's that open frame. And Michael Haugen got up to a nice start early. Walter Ray Williams Jr. rebounds nicely. A couple of bad breaks for Michael Haugen. There's one of them. Here comes the other one. Otherwise, it's a whole different match.
And wraps it up with that late trip and gets himself 9 he needed to win a championship. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has done it again. A great crowd today in Fountain Valley. Jam-packed house for all of our qualifying and the round-robin match play through last night. All to watch. Ocala, Florida native, a great champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr. He wins another major title today. Congratulations going to Walter Ray. Be sure to join us next week on ESPN for the PBA Days in Open from Dallas, Texas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now, for my partner, Randy Peterson, and Leslie Goodell, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Fountain Valley. We'll see you next week outside Dallas, Texas. The man of the moment, Walter Ray Williams Jr., wins the U.S. Open Championship.